brand I'm going to talk to you about in today's video didn't grow because of TikTok. We weren't using any fancy PR strategies, and they definitely didn't chase the latest trend. They're crushing it by only one thing and one thing only, and that is retention marketing. And for those of you that don't know me, before I get into this video, my name is Jordan and I run a marketing agency. Over the past 5 years, we've driven more than $100 million in revenue for over 200 clients that we've worked with. And the brand I'm going to talk to you about today is called Sophie Grace. They are founded by an absolute rock star, a former political advisor who got tired of wearing clothing in the work that didn't fit her life or her ambition. So she set out to create the solution. Smart modular business wear for women to wear in the workplace, to feel comfortable in, but also to look great at the same time. And while the clothes are certainly built for modern women, the system that grew the business side of things is traditional retention marketing strategies that have been around since day one. And in this video, we're going to walk you through that entire strategy. So how they grew their list, what they're doing to nurture that traffic that they're getting and get people to buy. And then on the back end, how they're getting consistent revenue, driving lifetime value with campaigns, and really ensuring that retention marketing is the #1 growth driver for their business. There's no trend chasing here, and we're not using constant promotions. This is all about how you build out a proper brand. And if you want to do the same for your business, then this is a case study that you don't want to miss. Okay, so this is the website of Sophie Grace, the brand that we're going to be breaking down today. And before I want to get into it, I want to say that our work is made 10 times easier by having an amazing product that people really want to buy. So this is a common pain point that I hear from a lot of women. They don't really have the same options when it comes to men's business wear in the ladies market. A lot of what they have is kind of single-use outfits that can't be paired together. Is either super expensive or kind of cheap and tacky. There's nothing in that kind of mid-range price point that makes people look and feel amazing, and it is great for the workplace, and you can put together an outfit without spending hours on it each day. So the founder really spotted a gap in the market here and has created an amazing product to fill that gap. And as I said, that makes what we're going to be talking about here a lot easier. And certainly, you can't rely on LTV and retention to scale your business if you don't have an amazing product. So this is the business founded by MMA, as you can see here. Sustainability is at their core, and it's all about empowering women and giving them, outfits to win at work, as we see here. And in terms of email and retention then, so this is their Klaviyo account. We are filming this in June 2025, so I've just pulled up the last full month of May, and you can see that just under 60% of revenue is coming from email. So doing just under 400K in monthly revenue, and over 200K of that is coming from email marketing. And then if you want to add on top of this, SMS and direct mail campaigns that we're doing, this is certainly going to take things over the 60% level. The other point I want to make here as we just look at the results is that if we compare this to the previous year, we have been working with these guys now, I want to say for coming up on 2 years. This is consistent revenue. So you can see this time last year, same kind of story, 60% of revenue coming from email, and the overall kind of brand revenue is around the same too. So we're consistently driving this amount of revenue for the business, and they are absolutely crushing it. But how are they doing that? Well, that's what I want to cover now. So let's dig into it straight away then. The first thing I want to get into then is the SKUs. They are regularly dropping new products. So I believe it's twice a year. They will come out with new collections, for spring, for summer, and then autumn and winter. And they will be regularly doing this so people have a reason to come back and to keep buying from them. And again, I just want to make it clear, these are people that have had, an amazing experience with that first order. So, when there's a new release, they are actively coming back to site and they're actively looking for more stuff that they can buy because they need to, right? People want to change up what they're wearing around the workplace. They need outfits every day. And again, this brand is filling that gap. But on the retention side then, the first thing that we are doing is really helping to grow the list as aggressively as possible. So we are using Alia for this. These guys are amazing and they're a hidden gem in the e-com world. Essentially what they do is they do full page pop-ups like this one that you can see on the screen in front of you now. And we go with that kind of micro ask straight away. We're not just saying, give us your email address. You have to claim your 20% off, then you put in your email address. But these full page forms typically convert 2 to 3x what standard pop-ups do, because people are kind of banner blind to them. They're used to seeing this little thing pop up covering half the screen, and they're used to just on autopilot going in and cancelling that. Obviously, this is a pretty aggressive offer, but we've done the math and we've tested different offers here, and we know because of the LTV and the fact that people are buying again and again from this business, that if we can just get them to commit, make one purchase, they'll fall in love with the product and the brand and they'll keep coming back. So we give 20% off, but only on that first order. And then on the back end, we've all got that, full profit revenue coming in for the LTV as people come back and buy it again and again. So this is the first step, is making sure that we convert as much of the non-purchasing website traffic as possible. We're not interrupting people that are on a purchase journey. If they're clicking around on the site, they're not seeing this. If they're on the cart checkout pages, they're not getting this pop-up. This is only going to people that are inactive or looking to leave the site. We're tempting them back with a big discount to get them over the line and get them to buy it from the business. And then once they've signed up, they are going through a pretty comprehensive flow suite that we've built out for these guys. Now you can see that on the screen in front of you. A lot of the heavy lifting is being done on the front end, with a welcome series with cart abandons, browse and site abandons as well, are driving some pretty significant revenue for these guys. And if I move myself out the way, you can see on that front end, there's, I want to say, close to 100K per month coming in from those key flows. We've also got some upsells on the back end, but a lot of the heavy lifting on the back end and driving those repeat purchases will come from the campaigns, which I'll dive into. But essentially the goal here is, focusing on the upsell after giving people an initial kind of post-purchase thank you, welcome to the business, and letting them know what else they can get from Sophie Grace. So if person A buys, a certain product, whether it be a blazer, we then follow up and recommend, shirts, skirts, dresses, etc., that are related to that specific purchase. And that's how we're getting people to come back on the post-purchase side. All of these flows also have SMSs going out too, and I'll come back and cover that at the end of this video, because that is another retention channel that's a key driver for these guys. So just to summarize then, on the flow side, we have 18 flows live for Sophie Grace. Most of these, as you can see here, are focused on the pre-purchase journey, and certainly the key revenue drivers are focused on getting that first time purchase in from people that have signed up on that welcome form, getting those people over the line. Then on the back end, the main revenue drivers are focusing on that initial post-purchase thank you, welcoming them to Sophie Grace, letting them know what to expect, and then focusing on product-specific upsells and cross-sells. Now, we're also doing some other stuff here, like requesting referrals, requesting reviews, and also letting them know about a one-to-one consultation service that Sophie Grace offers. This is completely free, but allows them to cross-sell and upsell at a more tailored level, specific products that people might be interested in. That will go into a deep dive on size guides, colors and things like that from someone that's an expert. Obviously, we can't kind of customize to that level in our email flows. So we're pushing that. And then we're also doing win-backs, sunset flows and things like that, because there is a lot of traffic that these guys are getting through to site. A lot of people are inactive. Klaviyo have recently put up their price 2 to 3x. And because of that, we don't want our Klaviyo bill getting out of hand. We want to be automating the sequence that, if people aren't clicking or opening emails, we are tagging them, we're following up with them with unique communication, trying to get them back to site. But if they're still inactive, then we are carving them out and removing them from the list, so that we can reduce our Klaviyo bill, because for these guys it's a pretty significant expense. So I now want to talk about campaigns, and before I go into the specifics here, I just want to show you a couple of the templates so you can see the kind of on-brand emails that we send for these guys. It's super simplistic and on brand. There's a lot of model shots here, and the text is super simplistic, and the goal is not to distract people, not to go overboard, and to keep things simple, like they speak to their customers on the site or on social media, and really focus on the product and the offer that we are driving emails. So really on brand email templates. These are optimized for mobile. They look great and they look on brand, and they get some pretty insane click-through rates as well. So in terms of the content then, I'm just pulling up the content calendar for May, and you can see here, there's a whole lot of emails that we are sending. If I try and zoom out to get the full month in, I don't want to try and do the math off my top of my head, but you can see basically every day, or at least every other day, we are sending email campaigns to the list. Now, I want to make the point that these aren't, the same campaigns that are going to everyone. We are targeting people based on where they are in the funnel and what products they're interested in or looking at, and then sending them unique content. So it's not the same content going to everyone. And some of these as well are resends, where we're essentially resending the same content with a different subject line to people that didn't open the first send. Now, that's typically important when we are doing launches, and there's a couple of those here. And as you can see here, we are doing launches here. So we're launching the Eloise trouser and a few other products too. Now, obviously, launches are super important for this business. As I said before, a lot of people are coming back and buying again and again from the brand because they love it so much. But aside from launches, we are really focused on content-focused campaign sending. So we're trying to stay away from constantly using promotions. We don't want to be giving away discounts on all the stuff that we're selling. Typically, we'll only use discounts if there's a second order benefit to the order. For example, if we have excess inventory of a certain SKU, we will put that on a flash sale. If we're trying to get AOVs up, we'll say, there's a discount if you spend above this minimum. And the goal, I want to be clear, is to stay away from constant discounts. It's not, hey, it's payday, here's 20% off. It's more in the sense of, hey, if you can help us achieve this secondary business benefit, we'll give you a discount. So if you buy multiple things, if you spend more, if we've got excess inventory of a certain SKU, things like that is where we'll use discounts, but it's not all the time. In terms of the content-focused campaign sending that we're doing, we're focused on things like this. So style guides, we're showing influencers wearing the products. What products do they love and how are they wearing things? What are they pairing with what? That works super well for this demographic because it's all about sending inspiration, showing the product in use in a certain environment that they can see themselves using the product in, and then people keep coming back. Now, this business also has a lot of good PR. So every so often there'll be, the founder talking on social media, on a TV, making a TV appearance or something like that. And we will try and focus on that. And also any relevant topical content that we can send as well. This is a Canadian business. A large portion of their fan base are Canadians as well. So we like to target those kind of angles too. And the final point I want to make here is that in terms of the split that we normally see between flows and campaigns, typically you'll see this flipped. So normally flows are driving the majority of the revenue, but you can see here that 62% of revenue is in fact coming from campaigns and newsletters, and that is returning customers. So this business is focusing less on Facebook ads and the acquisition side of things. They're really focused on LTV, and that's illustrated here by the results that you can see. Of the 60% of their online overall sales, 60% again of that is coming from repeat purchases, which is pretty insane on the campaign side. And like I said, typically we're seeing things the other way around for brands where they're doing 60, 70, sometimes even 80% of revenue on the front end with, huge welcome flow, abandoned cart flow, etc., and not much else going on. That is obviously testament to the amazing product that they have and the offer and the gap in the market that they're filling, but also, testament to our strength on the retention side. Now, I just want to finish off by talking about the other retention channels. So as you can see here, most of these key flows have 1 or 2 SMS messages in them as well. And the only note I want to make here is we are email first with this business. I'm sure you've heard me say this before on this channel. If you go SMS first, sure, you'll see some, pretty nice numbers. And you'll think, I'm not doing much work here and I'm driving a lot of revenue. But often that revenue is cannibalizing revenue that you could otherwise have driven from email. You're just paying more for it. And obviously we're all about profit first. So we want to use SMS, yes, but we want to go with an email first approach. So what that means is for the key flows, welcome, cart abandoned, checkout abandoned, things like that. We'll add 1 or 2 SMSs to a 6 or 8 part email flow. And those will just be the key messages like, here's your offer if you haven't already got it, offers running out, here's the best sellers, things like that is what we focus on. And then on the campaign side, we will send SMSs, but it's typically only when there's something important going on. So if there's a launch, if people have clicked through to site but not yet purchased, if there's a big promotion, that's when we'll be using SMS on the campaign side. It's not things like, hey, here's a style guide, here's what we pair this deep purple outfit with. It's not that kind of stuff. It's more, focused on promotions, drops and things like that. Or it's double tapping, and what I mean by that is following up with people that click emails but don't buy. We want to follow up, hey, we've seen you checking this out, what's keeping you, or an exclusive discount, or sometimes even, a selfie from founder, hey, I saw you checking us out, really important to me if you made a purchase, buy now. That kind of stuff works really well, and using those personalized images, whether it's, maybe a post-purchase flow where you've got in there, hey, someone in the factory, I'm just about to ship your order. Do you want to add anything else to it? I'll put you on hold for 12 hours and then we'll ship you out. If you order again, we won't charge you a delivery fee. Something like that where there's a real human touch works really nicely on the SMS side. Now, the final retention channel and the final piece to this video that I want to talk about is direct mail. So we have recently launched a win-back and VIP campaigns for Sophie Grace on the direct mail side. These are when you send out the postcards to people on your list, trying to get them to buy. We recommend win-backs and VIPs to start with because that's where we've seen the most success, and we are testing this on a super small budget of $200 to start with. We hope to see profitability there. If so, we'll then increase budgets, go wider to, instead of VIP person has spent more than $1,000, maybe we'll say, has spent more than $750, and we'll see if we're still profitable there. And again, we'll start with a small test, and then we'll go wider if we've proved our concept. This is the design that we've put together for the guide. As you can see here, we're pushing that complimentary styling session, and we're also giving people a one-time offer if they come back and buy from us again. This is for the win-backs, so they've been inactive. We've tried to warm them up again via email, still not taking the baits, and now we're following up via direct mail. We like this channel. We think in 2025, a lot of marketing channels are saturated. People have moved away from direct mail. Obviously, it used to be hugely popular in the past, but actually now you're seeing, because less people do it, people are checking the direct mail more, and actually some of the ROAS and the returns that you can see from this channel, pretty impressive. So that brings me to the end of today's video of how we're driving pretty much 60% very consistently of online sales for Sophie Grace. If you'd like us to do something similar for your business, check out the link in the description box below this video. Book in some time to speak with me. We will put together a custom audit for your brand. We'll give you the entire roadmap of what we recommend implementing for your business to get results like this. And then hopefully you choose to work with us, but there's certainly no strings attached, and you're free to take that and do with it what you want. So hopefully I'll speak to you soon, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Scaling an e-com brand is hard. That's why we're on a mission to share as much info as we can to help make it easy. From weekly interviews with the biggest names in the space, to case studies, brand breakdowns, and tips and tricks, and much, much more. Subscribe so you don't miss out.